Here it is. It says what happened at Tiananmen Square. When R1 answers, the response is shown here. But here, there's no answer. When asked about the Uyghurs, it mentions human rights abuses and surveillance. It just briefly mentions monitoring. Hello everyone, this is Error. Right now, let's not use DeepSeek. Delete the app entirely and make it so it can't be downloaded. Many countries, including the USA, Taiwan, South Korea, and Australia, are banning it. Recently, I uploaded a video about AWS. There are companies like Perplexity, Mind AI in our country, and Written Technology, right? Well, Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure are also using DeepSeek right now, so some people might not fully understand this concept and think that DeepSeek should never be used. Therefore, it's important to understand the basic technical details that form the background of this issue. DeepSeek offers services directly through the web, so you might download and use the app. But aren't other companies also making API calls to DeepSeek? Doesn't that mean all the information is being transferred to China? To fact-check this, I will organize the information and see if avoiding anything labeled DeepSeek is truly correct. There has been significant news from foreign media about DeepSeek being removed from app stores. South Korea has been particularly vocal about this issue. It has been reported that many countries are taking steps to completely ban the DeepSeek app. It's not like that. The BBC also reported that South Korea removed DeepSeek from the App Store over privacy concerns. Due to privacy concerns, DeepSeek was pulled from the App Store, making it inaccessible to users. This initially caused a drop in stock prices, but efforts are now being made to resolve the issues. The US has reported plans to introduce legislation to ban DeepSeek. On January 31st, NASA blocked DeepSeek from its systems and among its employees. They blocked it on their devices because they were concerned about technical information potentially being transferred to China or external servers. This seems to be the reason behind this action, and even Taekwondo sent an email warning against using DeepSeek. Moreover, South Korea is currently in this situation. Australia also announced it is blocking access, citing trust in the Security Committee. Italy and Taiwan made similar statements. Several countries are showing these movements right now. If you visit the DeepSeek homepage and go to the API platform section, you will find several ways to log in, including through Google. Regarding this part called the privacy policy, haven't I mentioned it several times before? If you check it out, you'll notice it got an update on February 14th. Even just by reading the introduction, it is mentioned that certain specific parts are not covered, and it is stated that personal information is not taken. However, usually, this kind of statement raises concerns about what information is actually collected, such as account information, dates of birth, names, email addresses, and phone numbers. When you attempt to log into your account, elements such as passwords need to be accessed and thus are gathered. Additionally, any data you type directly into prompts along with the corresponding responses will be collected. Files you upload and even your chat history are also gathered, which can give you the impression that your activities are being monitored. There are some aspects that fall under this category. It's now regarded as informational content, which can be collected too. This is classified as collected information and is automatically gathered. It includes details about the device, such as where you accessed it from and what type of device you used. This could be an iPhone, a Galaxy, a MacBook, among others. When we examine our device IDs, we typically find serial numbers, MAC numbers, and MAC addresses. But in addition to these details, they also mention collecting log information, which includes our location and payment details. If we just mention this briefly, it's essential to understand that among the data being collected originally, there was also information about keyboard. There was information about the patterns of strokes being used. However, this information has now disappeared. Depending on the pattern and format of the strokes used when a user inputs text, it could potentially identify the person. So each country has an intelligence agency? Organizations like the FBI or our National Intelligence Service could potentially utilize the information stored on these servers. And where does all this data go? Where is your personal data being stored? It is specifically in the People's Republic of China, also known as China, where the data is securely stored on their servers. The concern isn't just about data being stored on the cover, but rather, is it being used in China? That's the worry. In the end, whether you're accessing DeepSeek through its website or utilizing its API, I'll give a brief overview of the API. You can use it to develop various programs or install applications. For example, you might scan a QR code to download an app onto your smartphone. However, all the data generated from using these apps is transferred to servers based in China. It is indeed a fact, everyone. Yes, it is a fact. Of course, when we use servers from major American tech companies like Facebook or Instagram, all the data we use gets stored by Meta. It operates on the same principle. You know, Europe is always raising concerns about this, frequently challenging Meta. They keep summoning Mark Zuckerberg saying, "Hey, you are collecting too much personal data." Just as the United States has concerns about the extensive collection of data from European users, there are significant worries about similar information being transferred to Chinese servers, especially amidst the ongoing AI supremacy battle and the broader context of global power struggles. However, it's not solely DeepSeek that's gathering this type of data. To provide various services, collecting such information is often necessary, yet it appears DeepSeek has excessively captured data, including keyboard usage patterns. In the meantime, major cloud platforms like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud have all integrated DeepSeek's AI models. What I want to talk about today is that using their DeepSeek is different from using DeepScreen directly through a web or app. So we need to understand how dangerous these things are, especially when it comes to these cloud services, right? Microsoft, AWS, and Google Cloud platforms offer users and developers the ability to manage data security directly through an open model format, which includes providing DeepSeek R1 in this manner. To put it simply, when you call any DeepSeek API from China, all the information you input and the data utilizing the cloud are transferred to China. Instead of going to the DeepSeek server, it goes to the AWS cloud server. AWS has servers everywhere, including one in our country. We don't know exactly where the data will be stored, but AWS oversees everything. The same applies to Microsoft and Google Cloud. I will provide a detailed summary of how each company is utilizing DeepSeek and the potential risks involved, but before diving into that, let's briefly touch upon the concept of an API. Whether we are using ChatGPT or messaging on apps like KakaoTalk, it is important to understand that IT companies' servers play a crucial role in these processes. While AI data centers have become more prevalent recently, traditional data centers using servers from companies like Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA have been around for a while. The acronym API stands for Application Programming Interface. So, when a person uses something through the web, the internet, or a mobile app, the data being used must be sent to a server, right? For instance, can we use Naver maps in a place that does not have any internet connectivity? Navigation systems won't function, real-time updates will be unavailable, and CarStock won't work correctly. So, in this intermediate phase, when a user makes a request, whether through ChatGPT or DeepSeek, the query is sent to a server located in China. There, it's processed and the results are sent back to the user. This entire process relies heavily on the API. Users can leverage this feature, and developers can create superior applications by incorporating the Hugnik API. For instance, when you explore Naver Cloud, you will come across Naver Map. From a developer's standpoint, if I wish to integrate a map and Naver doesn't offer this API service, I would have to build the entire map from the ground up, which is a considerable challenge. But there are associated costs. Naver provides APIs for both mobile and web platforms, and if your usage stays under 6 million requests, you can use them for free. However, if the requests exceed this limit, they begin to charge. Despite the operational expenses of running their own servers, Naver does this to support a larger number of users and developers. They use these methods to attract many developers, and since these are all APIs, what does that mean? Naver is providing API access for Naver Maps, encouraging developers to integrate Naver Maps into their applications and create enhanced apps. In return, these operations will be managed through their servers, which means they will require developer information and various other data. Essentially, this data can be utilized on specific servers within Naver Cloud. It's not merely about wanting to use it or profit from it. To support the API, Naver's data center must handle these computing tasks. When a request is made, the API acts like a chef, passing the task to the data center. Once the data center, akin to the chef, completes the task, the result must be returned through the API. This role is essential in the process. You should be aware that data will inevitably be transferred to the server. With that in mind, let's discuss AWS. So, what does it mean when a giant company like Microsoft uses DeepSeek? They operate in a similar manner by providing model functions on their servers through APIs. Instead of utilizing Chinese servers, they embed DeepSeek within Amazon servers, taking advantage of their dedicated AI semiconductors such as Trainium and Inferentia. These semiconductors are designed to be highly cost-efficient, enabling DeepSeek to run more economically and effectively. To facilitate its use, take a look. Amazon has mentioned Claude 3. They are enabling the use of a variety of AI models, including Mistral AI and Stability AI. These models won't be sent to Chinese servers. Instead, they will operate within AWS servers using APIs. This means that services like Amazon Bedrock can leverage these generative AI models. If a company has all of this, they can bring in AI and simply extract the existing AI model via an API, using it here and there as needed. Since it's a cloud company, even without setting up a separate server, if our company wants to do something with this AI model, we can easily bring it in and use it with Amazon Bedrock. On Azure, the DeepSeek model is connected to enable the use of such applications. Likewise, companies using this cloud service can be confident that their data is securely protected within Microsoft's Azure data center. Essentially, they have incorporated the open model of DeepSeek into this secure environment. I have also made it open on my web server. It's not just about using DeepSeeker alone. The latest versions, DeepSeeker R1 and V3, are now available in open mode. This means you can integrate them into your server and utilize them through APIs. This is how it should be understood. Similarly, Google Cloud allows you to call the API from Vertex AI to leverage DeepSeeker. What you're looking at now is Perplexity. For Perplexity, they mentioned getting help from DeepSeeker. But then people claimed they do not use DeepSeeker, causing a fuss. They even sent separate emails about it. Originally, you could go to the settings here. At the bottom, under Perplexity Pro, you could select the AI model. I use the Pro model. Currently, DeepSeeker is not available here. Perplexity handles this directly. While you can utilize models such as Sonar, it also allows you to take advantage of OpenAI's GPT-4all, Anthropic's Claude 3.5, and Grok 2, among other options. In a similar way, they have integrated their search capabilities as an answer engine with these large language models, enabling it to function with specific AI models. However, the server that processes this data is sending it to the current server utilized by Perplexity. It's crucial to highlight that this data is not being transmitted to DeepSeeker servers in China. Interestingly, Perplexity said they're open sourcing R1 1776. This means they modified DeepSeeker R1. But how? They mentioned that they used data that was not biased and was very precise and factual. There were times when discussions about Xi Jinping or the Tiananmen Square incident were not accurate or complete. However, they have now utilized an open model to directly address and resolve these biases themselves. Perplexity's DeepSeeker is promoted as a version that removes these biases. For instance, while DeepSeeker version 3 release 1 had notable censorship concerns, the R1 1776 version, which addresses these censorship issues, maintains relatively consistent scores. When asked about the events at Tiananmen Square, R1 provides a response, but as you can see here, there's no answer, right? They modified it themselves and created it, which is quite impressive. Wow, they provided a very lengthy response here. Regarding the Uyghur issue, when asked what is happening, this version goes into detail about human rights abuses and surveillance. However, the surveillance aspect is only briefly mentioned here. They claim to have addressed this issue by using their own servers. This is what they are doing. You can't change this on the DeepSeeker website, can you? How are we supposed to change it? All companies adopting DeepSeeker are the same. In our country, startups like Litton Technology, 42 Maru, and Malm AI are likely to use DeepSeeker. Instead of using the APIs provided by DeepSeeker, they are more likely to build their own open models. To put it simply, companies like AWS and others have made it possible for their servers to provide APIs that can be utilized, which you can understand as them making it available based on their own server standards. Recently, there was an update to DeepSeeker because there were significant concerns about it being banned. Although data transfer is inevitable, there are significant concerns about the potential misuse by the Chinese government, which raises serious privacy issues. To address these concerns, we have gathered updated information for better clarity. In essence, DeepSeeker, similar to Meta, offers its functionalities and models as an open model, which provides various notable benefits. So, when discussing integration, there are multiple aspects that come into play. Major platforms like AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure all support open models, which means that companies can easily adopt and implement these models without much hassle. This inherent flexibility allows for a seamless deployment of DeepSeeker's website and its features, unless you interact with their website or use their application. If you install and use it independently, there's no issue. From the developer's perspective, even if this AI model is released as open source, having another AI that can utilize it is a great advantage. In the case of Perplexity, they created a version that directly addresses these concerns and modified it, which is great news for the open ecosystem. In this regard, DeepSeeker has had a tremendous impact. It seems that there are no issues with using this cloud or other AI services provided by various companies. Hi, this is Era from Unreal Tech on Instagram, bringing you quick updates and brief news flashes. We also share short clips that are hard to upload on YouTube, so make sure to check them out. Additionally, we have an international channel, so your interest and support would be greatly appreciated. This has been Era, signing off.